Have you ever wondered how restaurants get that salmon skin so perfectly crispy every single time? Well, today we're going to break down exactly how you can get that same incredible, crunchy result right in your own kitchen. And the best part? It only takes about 15 minutes. Okay, let's just dive right in. The real secret to that amazing crispy skin actually starts way before the fish even thinks about hitting the pan. This prep work, it's something you just can't skip if you want to get it right. First things first, let's get your gear together. You're gonna need your skin-on salmon fillets, of course, some kosher salt and black pepper, a neutral oil like canola, a good skillet, and definitely some paper towels. Having all this stuff ready to go just makes the whole thing fast and super smooth. All right, the very first thing you need to do, and honestly, this might be the most important step of all, is to get that salmon completely dry. Just put the fillets on a plate, grab your paper towels, and pat down every single surface. You really want to focus on that skin side. And here's why that matters so much. Dry skin really is the whole trick. See, moisture is the #1 enemy of crispiness. If that skin is even a little bit wet, it's just going to steam in the pan and end up all rubbery, which is exactly what we don't want. So how do you know you've done it right? Well, you're looking for a visual cue. The skin should look dull, almost matte. If it still looks shiny or feels damp when you touch it, just grab a fresh paper towel and give it another pass. Now it's time to season. Go ahead and season both sides generously with kosher salts and fresh black pepper. Obviously, this is for flavor, but that salt is also doing another important job. It's helping to pull out any last little bits of moisture from the surface of that skin. Okay, prep is officially done. Let's head over to the stove and build that incredible crust. This is where the magic happens, and it's all about managing your heat and having just a little bit of patience. All right, your next action is to get that skillet hot. Put it on the stove over medium-high heat for about a minute before you even think about adding the oil. A hot pan is so crucial because it means the fish will sear the moment it makes contact instead of just kind of sticking. Now here's a really key sensory cue for you. You're not waiting for the oil to smoke. You're just looking for it to shimmer. When you tilt the pan, the oil should move around really fast, almost like water. If you see a lot of smoke, your heat is a little too high, so just dial it back a bit. Now carefully layer fillets in the hot pan, always skin side down. And the second they hit that pan, take your spatula and press down firmly on each fillet for about 10 to 15 seconds. This is so important because it keeps the skin from curling up, making sure every inch of it is touching the hot pan. And now we come to the hardest part of this whole thing. Patience. Once you've pressed it down, you have to just leave it alone. Don't shake the pan, don't nudge the fish. Just let that heat do its job and form a perfect crust. Over the next 6 to 8 minutes or so, you're going to be using your eyes and your ears. With your eyes, you'll see the color change from translucent to opaque. And you want to see that color climb about 70 to 80% up the side of the fish. And with your ears, you just want to hear a nice, steady sizzle. If it's splattering and popping like crazy, your heat's still a bit too high. Once that fish is pretty much cooked through from the skin side, it's time for a quick flip. You're only going to cook it on the other side for about 30 to 90 seconds. We're just finishing it off here. Most of the heavy lifting is already done. And as soon as that's done, get it out of the pan. Transfer it right over to a plate, and here's the key. Place it skin side up. This keeps that beautiful, crispy skin up in the air, away from any juices on the plate, so it stays perfectly crispy. Now, whatever you do, do not wash that pan. All those little brown bits left behind, that's pure flavor, and we're going to use them to whip up an amazing pan sauce in like less than 2 minutes. So keeping the pan on medium heat, just toss in a bit of butter, let it melt and swirl around with all those delicious salmon drippings. This right here is going to be the rich, savory base for our sauce. Okay, now add your minced garlic. And you have to be ready because this step is super fast. You're going to stir it constantly for just 15 to 25 seconds. That's it. It's just enough time for it to smell amazing. And here is a huge mistake alert for this sauce. Do not let that garlic get brown, not even a little bit. The second it starts to color, it starts to turn bitter, and that sharp flavor will completely take over and ruin your sauce. So to make sure that doesn't happen, you're going to immediately add a splash of water or broth. This instantly stops the garlic from cooking and lets you scrape up all those flavorful bits from the bottom of the pan. Then just turn the heat down to low and stir in your fresh lemon juice. Okay, time to bring it all together. We've got our perfectly cooked salmon with that amazing crispy skin, and we have a bright, delicious pan sauce ready to go. Let's just cover the final details for serving this up. So, your final check to make sure it's done perfectly is really simple. Just take a fork and gently press into the thickest part of the salmon. If it flakes apart easily with no resistance, you nailed it. It's cooked perfectly. And here are just a few pro tips for serving. The most important one, spoon that beautiful sauce around the salmon, not on top of the skin you worked so hard to crisp up. And, of course, you want to serve it immediately with some simple sides like rice or broccoli. Oh, and if you want to jazz up that sauce, try adding a little Dijon mustard or some capers. It's delicious. And there you have it. A really clear, reliable way to get perfect crispy skinned salmon every single time. Now that you've got the technique down, the only real question left is, how are you going to make it your own? Maybe add a pinch of chili flakes or some fresh herbs to that sauce. Now the fun part begins.